My name is Scott Hale and I'm 16 years old. Right now, I'm sitting on the edge of my bed in my room in Arvada just outside of Denver. I've been spinning this basketball between my hands for an hour, just staring at the floor. If you had asked me a week ago if I believed in miracles, I probably would have shrugged and gone back to my phone. I was just a regular guy, maybe a little more sad and lonely lately than I let on. I wasn't a bad person, but I wasn't exactly living for God either. I went to youth group when my mom made me, but my mind was usually on the weekend or the next game. Everything changed 4 days ago. It was a warm afternoon and I was at the park with my friends Noah and Ethan. We were playing a 3-on-3 game and the energy was high. I remember jumping for a rebound, feeling the air rush past me, and then nothing. My heart just stopped. Later, the doctors told me it was a rare heart condition no one knew I had. 1 second I was reaching for the ball and the next, I was gone. Before I tell you what happened next, please leave a comment and let me know where you are watching this from. It helps me feel less alone in this. Like and share this so others can hear what I saw, because I know there are people out there as lost as I was. It's hard to put into words what it feels like to leave your body, but I want to try. One moment, I was looking at the orange rim of the basketball hoop, and the next, I was looking down at myself. I saw Noah screaming my name. I saw Ethan running toward the parking lot for help. I saw my own body lying there, looking like an empty shell. It wasn't scary. It was like I had just taken off a heavy coat on a hot day. I felt light. I felt free. Then the park began to fade away, replaced by a light so bright it should have blinded me, but it felt like the safest place I had ever been. When I arrived, I wasn't in a hospital or a park. I was standing in what looked like a meadow, but the grass wasn't just green. It was alive with a color I've never seen on Earth. Each blade seemed to vibrate with a soft, humming music. The air smelled like every happy memory I'd ever had, fresh rain, my mom's baking, and mountain air all mixed into one. I looked down at my hands and they were glowing. I wasn't a sad teenager anymore. I was just me, the real me, without the weight of the world on my shoulders. Then he appeared. He didn't walk toward me so much as he was suddenly there, as if he had been waiting for me all along. He was wearing a simple white robe that seemed to be woven out of pure sunlight. His hair was dark and wavy, and his skin had the warmth of someone who spent their life under the sun. But it was his eyes that changed me. They were the color of deep water, and when he looked at me, I felt like he was reading every thought I'd ever had, every secret I'd ever kept, and yet he was smiling with a love that made my knees weak. "Scott," he said, and my name sounded like a beautiful melody. "I have missed you." I couldn't even speak. I just fell at his feet. I felt so dirty compared to him, so unimportant. I thought about all the times I'd rolled my eyes at my mom when she talked about Jesus, or the times I'd been mean to kids at school just to fit in. But he reached down with those scarred hands that were rough like a carpenter's, but gentle like a father's. And he lifted me up. He held me until my shaking stopped. There was no judgment in his touch, only a peace that passed anything I could ever explain. "Do not be afraid," he whispered. "I brought you here to show you the truth. You see things through a glass darkly, but I want to show you how things truly are." He took my hand, and the meadow around us began to shift. It was like the world became transparent. He started showing me things, not with words, but through visions that I felt in my very soul. He showed me a vision of a crowded street in Denver. I saw thousands of people walking, and they all looked so busy. But Jesus showed me what was inside them. I saw that many of them were carrying heavy gray stones in their pockets and in their hearts. Every time they told a lie, a new stone appeared. Every time they held a grudge or refused to forgive someone, the stones got heavier. I saw a man in a fancy suit who looked successful to the world, but he was so weighed down by his secret pride that he could barely breathe. He was stumbling under the weight of things no one else could see. Jesus leaned closer to me and said, "They think these small things do not matter. They think a little lie or a hidden bit of hate is a small thing. But look at how it binds them. They are building their own prisons, brick by brick, and they do not even know they are trapped." The vision shifted to a girl I recognized from my high school. She was sitting alone in her room, crying. I remembered seeing her in the hallway and laughing when my friends made a joke about her clothes. In the vision, I saw the words my friends and I had said. They weren't just sounds, they were like dark arrows that struck her and stayed there, festering. I felt the sting of her pain as if it were my own. I saw how those harmless jokes were actually destroying her spirit. Every word is a seed, Scott, Jesus said softly. You can plant seeds that grow into beautiful trees of life, or you can plant thorns that choke the heart. People forget that I am listening even when they think they are only speaking to their friends. I felt a deep ache of regret. I wanted to go back and pull those arrows out. I wanted to tell her I was sorry. But Jesus didn't show me this to make me feel bad. He showed me so I would understand the power we have over each other. Then he showed me a vision of a small, elderly woman sitting in a hospital waiting room. She wasn't rich or famous. She was just sitting there, quietly praying for a stranger she had seen in the hallway. As she prayed, I saw golden light pouring out of her and traveling through the walls. It reached a man in an ICU bed who was about to give up. The light touched him, and I saw his spirit grow stronger. He didn't know why he suddenly felt hope, but I saw that it came from the simple, hidden prayer of that woman. This is the true power in your world, Jesus said. It is not found in the games you play or the things you buy. It is found in the love you give away when no one is watching. A single prayer from a humble heart is louder in heaven than the greatest roar of a stadium. The visions began to move faster. I saw a young guy about my age who was standing at a party. Someone offered him something he knew he shouldn't take. I saw the struggle in his mind. He wanted to fit in so badly. He thought that if he said no, he would be a loser. But Jesus showed me the two paths stretching out from that one moment. If he took it, his life would slowly spiral into a fog of addiction and wasted years. If he said no, he would face a few minutes of embarrassment, but he would stay on a path of clarity and purpose. The enemy tells you that your choices are small, Jesus explained. He tells you that you have plenty of time to be serious later, but there is no such thing as a small choice. Every yes and every no is a step toward me or a step away from me. The fog of the world is designed to make you forget that you are an eternal being. I looked at him and I could see the reflection of the whole universe in his eyes. I felt so small, but at the same time, I felt like the most important person because he was taking the time to show this to me. I realized that he wasn't just showing me these things for my own sake. He was giving me a message to bring back to all of you. He showed me one more vision in this first part of my journey. I saw a giant wall made of mirrors. People were standing in front of it, but they weren't looking at their true selves. The mirrors were warped. Some made people look much better than they were, feeding their vanity. Others made people look like monsters, making them hate themselves. I saw people spending their entire lives trying to fix their image in these broken mirrors. They were obsessed with how they looked, what people thought of them, and how many people followed them. Jesus waved his hand and the mirrors shattered. Behind the mirrors was a clear, beautiful light. The world wants you to focus on the image, Spesh, he said. But I focus on the heart. Stop trying to fix the mirror. Come to me and I will show you who you really are. You are my child, bought with a price, and your value is not found in what the world reflects back at you. I looked at Jesus and I felt like I was finally home, but he had more to show me. The meadow where we stood didn't just feel like a place. It felt like a living thing that was happy I was there. I've spent so much of my 16 years feeling like I was in the way, or like I wasn't quite good enough at sports or school, but in his presence, all of that just melted. He looked at me again and his smile was like the first warm day after a long Colorado winter. He knew I was overwhelmed, and he just let me breathe in the peace for a moment. The world is very loud, Scott, he said, and as he spoke, I saw a vision of a busy intersection in downtown Denver. I could see the cars rushing by and people on their phones, their faces tight with stress. They are all listening to the noise, but very few are listening for the heartbeat of their creator. They think that by running faster, they can outrun the emptiness inside. He waved his hand and the vision changed. I saw a boy about my age sitting in a dark room. The only light came from his computer screen. I could see what he was looking at, things that were twisting his mind and making him feel cold inside. He looked so lonely, even though he was connected to thousands of people online. I saw a dark, sticky shadow beginning to wrap around his heart, pulling him deeper into a place where he didn't care about anything real anymore. "This boy," Jesus said, and his voice was full of a deep, heavy sadness, "thinks that no one sees him in the dark. He thinks his secret habits are his own. But every time he looks away from the light, he is letting go of a piece of his soul. He is trading his future for a moment of nothingness. I am calling to him every night, whispering to his heart to put the screen away and talk to me. But the noise of the world is a wall he has built himself." I felt a lump in my throat. I knew that feeling. I knew what it was like to stay up late, scrolling and watching things just to feel something, only to wake up feeling more empty than before. I wanted to reach into the vision and shake him, to tell him that Jesus was right there. "Can he hear you?" I asked. "He can," Jesus replied, "but he must choose to listen. I will never force my way into a heart that wants to stay closed. Love is a choice, Scott. If it were forced, it wouldn't be love." The vision shifted again. We were standing in a hallway at my high school. I saw a group of guys I knew. They were standing around a locker and they were laughing at a younger kid who looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. I saw myself in that crowd, standing in the back. I wasn't the one saying the mean things, but I was laughing along because I didn't want them to turn on me. Jesus didn't say anything at first. He just let me watch. I saw the younger boy go home and sit on his bed, the same way I'm sitting on mine now. I saw the way our laughter followed him like a physical weight. It wasn't just a bad day for him. It was a wound that was changing who he was. He was starting to believe that he was worthless because of what we said. "Look at his heart," Jesus whispered. I saw the boy's heart, and it was glowing with a soft, beautiful light. But our words were like drops of black ink falling into a glass of clear water. The more we laughed, the darker the water became. "You did not throw the stones," Jesus said, "but you stood by and watched while others did. To love your neighbor is to protect them. Every time you stay silent when someone is being crushed, you are losing the chance to be my hands and feet. You were worried about what those boys thought of you, but you forgot to worry about what I thought of you." I felt like I was breaking apart. I wanted to fall back down and hide my face. How could I have been so stupid? How could I have cared so much about being cool when I was hurting someone he loved so much? "Do not weep for what is past," he said, lifting my chin so I had to look into his eyes. "Weep for the ones who will not change. You are being shown this so that when you return, you will see with my eyes. You will see the hurting, the hidden, and the broken. You will see that there are no unimportant people." He then showed me a vision that was so beautiful it nearly took my breath away. It was a garden, but not like any garden on earth. The flowers didn't just sit there. They seemed to be singing a song of praise. I saw thousands of children playing there. They were all different skin colors, different ages, but they all had the same look of pure, perfect joy. I saw babies who were being held by figures of light and older kids who were running through a river that looked like liquid diamonds. "These are the ones the world forgot," Jesus said. "The ones who never got a chance to grow up, the ones who were tossed aside, and the ones who suffered in silence. Here, they are kings and queens. Here, their laughter is the music of heaven. No one is ever lonely here. No one is ever afraid." I saw a little girl with bright eyes run up to a man who was sitting on a bench. The man looked like he had been a warrior or a king on earth, but here he was just a grandfather, playing a game with her. The love between them was so thick you could almost touch it. "Is this where everyone goes?" I asked, hoping the answer was yes. Jesus' face became very serious. The bright garden started to fade and the air grew cold. I felt a shiver run down my spine that had nothing to do with the wind. He showed me a vision of a place that felt like the absolute end of hope. It wasn't a place of fire and pitchforks like you see in cartoons. It was worse. It was a place of total, crushing isolation. I saw a young man, maybe 19 or 20, standing in a gray, foggy wasteland. He was looking at his hands, but they were fading. He was trying to call out to someone, but there was no one there. He was surrounded by his own memories, but they were all twisted. He saw all the times he had been selfish, all the times he had lied to get ahead, and all the times he had walked away from the truth. In this place, he couldn't hide from himself anymore. He was stuck with the person he had chosen to become. He spent his whole life building a world where he was the God, Jesus explained. He wanted a world without me. He wanted a world where he didn't have to answer to anyone. And now, he has exactly what he asked for. He is in a world without me. And he is finding out that without me, there is no light, no love, and no life. It is the most terrible thing a soul can experience, to be truly alone with its own darkness. I saw the young man fall to his knees and sob. It wasn't a cry for help. It was the cry of someone who knew it was too late. He had spent his time on earth thinking he was too busy, too smart, or too young to care about his soul. He thought he had 80 years to figure it out, and he didn't realize that a single Monday afternoon could change everything. Many people think that I am a judge who wants to send people away, Jesus said, but I am the Savior who died to keep them from going there. I have knocked on the door of that young man's heart 1,000 times. I sent friends to talk to him. I gave him beauties and nature to wonder at, and I gave him a conscience that hurt when he did wrong. He silenced all of it. He chose this. I felt a wave of terror. I thought about Noah and Ethan. I thought about my cousins and the kids in my class who think that God is just a fairy tale or a safety net for old people. I wanted to scream at them to wake up. Tell them, Scott, Jesus said, his voice resonating through my entire being. Tell them that the clock is ticking, not because I am angry, but because life is a vapor. It appears for a little time and then vanishes. Tell them that the things they are chasing, the popularity, the clothes, the money, are nothing but dust. They are trying to fill an eternal hole with temporary things. It will never work. He showed me a vision of a large church. Inside, people were singing and the preacher was talking, but Jesus showed me the hearts of the people in the pews. Some were truly worshiping, their hearts glowing like embers, but many others were just going through the motions. They were thinking about lunch or their jobs or what they were going to post on social media later. To them, it was just a club, a place to look good. They honor me with their lips, Jesus said sadly, but their hearts are far from me. They think that by showing up once a week, they have paid their debt. But I don't want their time. I want their life. I don't want their songs. I want their surrender. Religion is a cage that people build to try and manage me, but I am not a pet. I am the King of Kings. The vision shifted to a small house in a poor neighborhood. Inside, a mother was kneeling by her son's bed. They didn't have much. The wallpaper was peeling and the heat was turned down low to save money. But as that mother prayed, the room was filled with the same light I saw in the heavenly garden. She was talking to Jesus like he was her best friend. And I saw him standing right there next to her, his hand on her shoulder, though she couldn't see him. She has nothing in the eyes of the world, Jesus said, but she has everything in mine. She knows me. She trusts me with her son's life and her own. When she walks through the gates of heaven, there will be a celebration that would put the greatest earthly party to shame. The world looks at the outward appearance, but I look at the heart. I felt a sudden, intense desire to be like that woman. I wanted my room in Arvada to be filled with that light. I wanted to be someone who truly knew him, not just someone who knew about him. How do I stay close to you? I asked. It's so hard down there. Everything is trying to pull me away. Jesus smiled, and it was the most encouraging thing I've ever felt. He showed me a vision of a vine growing on a wall. The branch cannot bear fruit by itself, he said. It must stay attached to the vine. If you stay in me and I stay in you, you will bear much fruit. Talk to me when you wake up. Talk to me when you are walking between classes. Read my words not as a chore, but as a letter from a father who loves you. I am as close as your next breath, Scott. The only thing that can separate us is your own will. Then he showed me one final vision for this part. It was a vision of a massive bridge. On one side was a land of shadows and ruins, and on the other was the land of light and life. Millions of people were trying to cross the gap between the two. Some were trying to build their own bridges out of gold, but the gold melted. Others were trying to jump across, but they fell into the abyss. Some were trying to climb across on ropes made of their own good deeds, but the ropes snapped under their weight. But then I saw a cross. It was laid across the gap, reaching from one side to the other. It was the only way across. People who stepped onto it found that it was solid and sure. It didn't matter how heavy their gray stones were, the cross could hold them. I am the way, Jesus said. No one comes to the Father except through me. It is not about being good enough to cross. No one is good enough. It is about trusting the bridge I have provided with my own blood. Tell them to stop trying to build their own way. Tell them to just come to the cross. The bridge vision stayed in my mind like it was burned there, but Jesus wasn't done. He wanted me to see the full picture of why he was sending me back. The air around us seemed to shimmer, and suddenly we were standing in the middle of a vast field of wheat. The stalks were golden and heavy, waving in a wind that felt like a gentle breath. Look closely, Scott, Jesus said. As I looked, the field changed. Each stalk of wheat wasn't just a plant, it represented a person's life. I saw some stalks that were tall and strong, their heads bowed low because they were so full of grain. Jesus explained that these were the people who lived their lives for others, whose hearts were full of the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, and peace. But then I saw other stalks that were thin, brittle, and standing straight up. They looked impressive from a distance because they were tall, but they were empty. They had no grain inside. These are the ones who live for the praise of men, he told me. They stand tall and proud, wanting everyone to see them, but they have no substance. When the harvest comes, they have nothing to offer. I don't want you to just be tall, Scott. I want you to be fruitful. He reached out and touched a stalk of wheat, and it turned into a vision of a guy I see at the gym all the time. He's always posting pictures of his workouts, trying to show everyone how strong he is. But in the vision, I saw him go home to a house where he never spoke to his parents and ignored his younger brother who looked up to him. His strength was just a shell. He was empty grain. Tell the young people that true strength is found in service, Jesus said. The world tells you to be the greatest, but I tell you to be the servant of all. The grain that falls to the ground and dies is the one that produces a huge harvest. You have to die to your own ego if you want to truly live. The field of wheat faded, and we were suddenly standing in a place that looked like a massive, beautiful library. But there were no books. Instead, the walls were covered in glowing lights. Each light was a memory, a moment in time. Jesus pointed to a light that was dim and flickering. It was a vision of a woman sitting on a park bench, looking completely hopeless. She was about to give up on her life. Then I saw a little boy walk by and drop his ice cream. Instead of crying, he looked at the woman and gave her a shy, toothy smile. That was it, just a smile. But in the vision, I saw that smile hit the woman like a bolt of lightning. It broke through her dark thoughts. She decided to go home and call her sister. That one tiny moment saved her. No act of kindness is ever lost, Jesus whispered. People think they need to do big things to serve me. They think they need to be famous or have a platform, but I am in the small things. I am in the cup of cold water given to a thirsty person. I am in the text message you send to a friend who is struggling. I am in the silence when you choose not to gossip. Never underestimate the power of the light I have placed inside you. The visions began to come faster now, like he was trying to show me as much as possible before I had to go. I saw a vision of what he called the unseen war. We were standing on a hill overlooking Arvada, but it didn't look like the normal city. I saw people walking to work and school, but around them there were shadows, dark, winged things that were whispering into their ears. These shadows were telling them they weren't good enough, that they should be angry, that they should give up. But I also saw beings of light, warriors who were standing guard. Every time someone prayed, the light from these warriors grew brighter and pushed the shadows back. I saw a group of students at my school meeting in a circle to pray before class, and the light coming from them was like a shield over the entire building. The shadows couldn't get near them. Prayer is not a chore, Scott, Jesus said, his voice firm. It is your greatest weapon. It is how you invite the power of heaven into the darkness of earth. Tell my people to stop playing with the world and start praying for the world. The battle is real, but the victory is already mine. They just need to stand with me. I saw a vision of a girl who had everything the world says you need: beauty, money, and popularity. But inside, her soul was like a parched desert. She was drinking from broken wells, Jesus called them. She was looking for love in all the wrong places, trying to find peace in things that only left her more thirsty. I saw her crying in her car after a party, feeling more alone than ever. She is looking for me, but she doesn't know my name yet, he said. She thinks her thirst is for things, but her thirst is for the living water. There are millions just like her, Scott. They are dying of thirst in a world full of salt. You have to tell them where the well is. Then the mood shifted. Jesus took my hand and we were standing back on that basketball court. I saw the moment I fell. I saw Noah kneeling over me, his face white with terror. I saw the ambulance pulling up, the lights flashing against the trees. I saw the paramedics working on me, their faces grim. I felt a strange pull, like a magnet when it was trying to drag me back into that body on the ground. It is time, Jesus said. I don't want to go, I told him, and I meant it with everything I was. It's too hard there, it's too dark. I just want to stay here with you. He looked at me with so much love that it felt like it would burst my heart. I am always with you, Scott. Even when you feel alone, I am there. Even when the world is screaming, I am the still, small voice. You are going back because there are people who will only hear the truth if it comes from you. You have seen what is at stake. You have seen the joy of the children and the sorrow of the lost. You are my witness. He leaned in and whispered something into my ear, a personal promise that I'll keep in my heart forever. Then he placed his hand over my chest, right where my heart was. Go and tell them that I am coming soon. Tell them that the door is still open. The light became so bright that everything else vanished. Suddenly, there was a massive, crushing weight. I felt the cold air of the hospital room. I heard the sharp, rhythmic beeping of a heart monitor. I felt a sharp pain in my chest, and I gasped for air, my lungs burning as they filled up for the first time in 15 minutes. I opened my eyes and saw the white ceiling. I saw my mom, Isabella, grab my hand, her eyes red from crying. I saw the doctor, a man named Dr. Hernandez, staring at the monitor in total disbelief. He's back, someone whispered. He's actually back. The last few days have been a blur of tests and doctors and people trying to explain away what happened. They want to talk about heart rhythms and oxygen levels, but I know the truth. I wasn't just unconscious. I was in the presence of the King. Since I've been home, I haven't been able to sleep much. I keep seeing those visions. I keep seeing the girl in the car, the man with the gray stones, and the boy at the computer. I see my friends Noah and Ethan, and I realize how close they are to that fog. I can't just play basketball and worry about my shoes anymore. I have a fire in my bones that wasn't there before. I'm sharing this because I have to. I know some of you think I'm just a kid who had a weird dream because my brain was shutting down. But a dream doesn't change your entire soul. A dream doesn't make you love your enemies or want to spend your life telling people about a man who died 2,000 years ago. This is real. Eternity is the most real thing there is. I want you to look at your life right now. Not the life people see on your profile, but the real one. Are you carrying those gray stones? Are you drinking from broken wells that leave you thirsty? Are you standing in the back while others are being crushed? You don't have to live that way. The bridge is there. The light is calling. If you're feeling that weight in your chest like I was, just talk to him. Say, Jesus, I'm tired of the dark. Please lead me into your light. He changed my world in 15 minutes, and he can change yours right now. Thank you for listening to me. Please don't ignore what your heart is feeling.